Okay, just about to head to the lake, just charging up some batteries for the SR80Pro. A couple of things I've noticed. In the instructions, there's not one mention of what voltage you're meant to run on this. I've been through every page, and yeah, maybe I'm half blind, but I cannot see anything about what the maximum voltage is. It doesn't say anything about it on the box either. Maybe it says something on the website, you know, where I bought it from, on the page. I don't know. I imagine it's going to be 4S maximum, so I'm going to take a 3S and a 4S pack there. The only packs I ever use are 5200 milliamp, which is probably the 4S one's might be a little bit too heavy for this. I don't know. We'll see what happens. They've put some Velcro on here. Funny thing is they put the soft one here, and then the spiky one there, soft and soft. No, that's spiky. Spiky, oh, spiky, two soft ones in there. So, you know, I don't know, I'm gonna have to swap that around. Another weird thing is, well, when I plugged it in, actually the prop was spinning backwards, so that I had to swap two wires around here, which isn't a problem, but that tells me that they don't even test these things in the factory. They don't put a battery on it and make sure it works. But oh well. But the weirdest thing of all is the cable is a 4mm cable with a 5mm stub shaft. I went to just put a different prop on there just to make sure it fitted, and it doesn't. So 316 is your most common size prop in the smaller, anything below, like, you know, 50mm, and 316 is 4.76mm. This is 5mm, so you're never going to get any kind of off-the-shelf prop on here. So this shaft has to be changed to 316, which also means the strut has to be changed to 316, and so does the collet. Oh, it could be changed to 4mm, sorry, I'm ahead of myself there. If you change it to 4mm, then you still got to change the strut, but not the collet. The trouble is, the cable is longer than the standard off-the-shelf 4mm cable. So we can't even go that way. I'd have to go 316 all the way, which means the collet, either take the liner out or change the stuffing tube and the liner and the strut as well, just to run a different prop on there. Makes things a little bit hard for people that are, you know, just if they buy their first boat and they want to upgrade it. It's might be a bit daunting for some people. The prop that they give you is a 440, so 40mm by 1.4 pitch. Has a massive amount of tongue on here, which means you're going to get a lot of bite. It's going to take off quick, but that actually takes top speed away from you. You really wanted to, if you knew what you were doing, you would remove some of that. Like you'd probably grind it from, or take it off from here to here. But if you take too much off, then you get to a point where it won't accelerate out the water. You just cavitate. If you're ever gonna play around with a prop like that, and if you had no choice and you wanted to go faster, that's what you would do. You would just do it in stages, just take a bit of the time off, and you would get what we used to call it when we were kids was called plasticine. It's like putty, or it might be called Play-Doh now perhaps, and you make an impression of one side, and then you make an impression, and then you put the other side in to make sure it's exactly the same profile. But that's probably getting a bit more advanced. All you'd want to do with this, if you don't know really what you're doing, is put a file on this from this side and just make it sharp, because that is as blunt as anything. So the other thing I noticed is the adjusters here, the locking nuts here were loose. Like one was right down to the bottom, one was halfway down, so they were definitely going to move. I've just left the tabs where they have them, and they've basically got the end of this at the same height as the bottom of the boat there. They have quite a gap there from there to there. Most boats would be close to the bottom, but that don't matter. All right. So just as a real quick thing, you can just filed it along there. Just got a bit of sharpness on there now. I'm not going to change the shape of the prop in any way. Just make it sharp. That's half of it done already in what, 10-15 seconds. Then do the other half. Okay, got the SR80Pro on 3S. I was told you need to tape the lid down on these because the front thing doesn't hold on very well, but I'm only running on 3S, so I'll do that on the second one, on the 4S. It's supposed to do 70 k's an hour. I imagine that's the 4S speed, so she ain't going to be too fast. Yeah, that's it for 3S. What's that, 30 kilometers an hour? Seems to handle alright though. Oh, it sits nice in the water, I should say. The nose is up. That's all she's got. The controller's a bit funny. It doesn't actually return. It stays there. Whoop, no, flip it. Alright, so we'll get rid of this. We'll put the 4S thing in there. Put the 4S battery in there. Alright, so I ran it for a couple more minutes, and then I realised it's got a bit of throttle trim here. This one here, I had it most of the way forward, like that way, thinking forward is fast, but you got to pull it back. I pulled it all the way back, and it is a bit better now. Still on 3S. That's a little bit more impressive. Hey, we got, I don't know, 40 kilometers an hour. Maybe not, 35. So I'm glad I found that before I put the 4S battery in. I hate this steering though, it just doesn't let go. It doesn't return. Same on both sides. Alright. Let's see how hot I managed to get that motor. We got 39 kilometers an hour. Motor, oh, it's pretty good for an outrunner. It's hardly done any work. It's like barely any temperature there at all, so that's good. And I was running it with the full trigger for, you know, probably with 3 or 4 minutes, so that's alright. Actually not one drop of water in there. How good is that? I suppose it has got a pretty long stuffing tube, so maybe that's got a little bit to do with it. Water's got a fair way to travel up. Okay, there we go, all taped up. Rescue boat's ready and waiting just in case, but I really don't think it's going to be an issue. Going on how cold that motor ran just now. Jeez, okay. Oh. Bit more zippy. A little bit hard to drive. I want to lean left all the time because of the battery's a bit heavier than it likes. It's more of a lean than a steer. I want to go that way. Seems alright. You can turn it flat out. Sure, if it got a bit rough, you wouldn't be able to. It's so light. I mean, for such a cheap boat, what more could you want, really? $400 plus a battery. I should get the little Pro Boat what is it? 26 Recall 26 out with this one. I mean, don't know that. I think this would be slower than that, but I think a nice little outing with both of them together. Test out the rollover function. I love that sound, eh? I had a big cat. I built a big cat with 4 of this style of motor in it. They were twice as big as well, so you can imagine what the sound of that made. Oh shit! Don't even want to stay there. There you go. I'm not worried about flipping it now. It's fine. Seems like a nice little go-to boat when you just want to go to the lake, not have any stress, just have 10 minutes of fun. Just chuck this in. Flip a boat over. Alright, let's see how hot everything got. The seal is good on this. Bloody hard to open. Alright, we got 61. So 61. They're saying on the box it does 70. But I don't care about that. Motor's warm, as you'd expect. 49. No big deal. Speed controller. Oh, speed controller got warm. 52, 53. Didn't stress the battery out much.